Ohio gozaimasu, everybody. It is Pixie's Panoptic today. Woo! And we are talking about labor. Now, I know this topic is kind of iffy on all scales, so I just want to tell you about my personal labor story and what a interesting one it was. So, sometime when I woke up that morning, I was like, am I in labor? No, it's just fake labor pain. So I kind of brushed it off. Went over to my mother's house, and I'm sitting here having contractions while talking to my grandmother. I'm talking to my cousin, I'm talking to my aunt, and we're having full-blown conversations while I have contractions on the floor. So, in the midst of my contractions, I asked my mother, who was at work at the time, can I have a little exercise ball so I could roll on it while I'm having contractions? She's like, oh, it's in my room. So I go to her room with a deflated ball. So I go to the garage and I look for a pump, start having more contractions. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to have to do this labor without an exercise ball because this is too hard to find. So after that whole fiasco, I go back home and my child's father decides to run me a bubble bath. Now, I'm not able to understand the scientifical, gradaminuscule, astrophenomenal properties that a bath will actually do for you while in labor. But the second I got into that bathtub with bubbles, I did. It was amazing grace, how sweet the sound. So, I'm chilling in the bath with my bubbles, and I'm eating watermelon slices, I'm eating applesauce, I'm eating blue jello, like Kool-Aid flavored. Awesome! After my hands and my feet start getting a little pruny, I get out the bathtub and I put my music in my ears. Now, throughout this whole day, I haven't contacted anybody. I haven't got on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I ain't text nobody. So I'm in my zone during my labor. And I put my headphones in my ears and I'm dancing. Oh, I'm listening to K-pop. By the time I'm done dancing, the car seat is put together, the stroller is put together. Oh, and my favorite, the pack and play is put together. And my child's father was like, let's go to the hospital. And I was like, no. So I ran another bubble bath, and while I'm sitting in the bath, I started pushing. Like, oh no, is this what happens during labor? And my instinct was to suck it back in. And by it, I mean my child. So then my child's father is like, oh no, it's time to go. Let me go get you some clothes. I was like, okay, alright, give me something. So he gave me a green shirt and some Tinkerbell pants. And I was like, great, excellent outfit. And then I went and I sat on the bed and I started screaming. I didn't know at the time, but I was 9 centimeters dilated. And I was just, and I still didn't want to call anybody. I still didn't want to tell anybody. I was just sitting there in my zone. I had a song in my head, and I was gonna do this at home. But my insurance didn't cover it, so it was time to go to the hospital. Yeah. You know what? Let me go to the bathroom. I feel like I need to pee. Wrong. Number 1 came out, number 2 came out, and number 15 came out. You know what's number 15? My water broke. So I waddle my little happy self to the car and get to the car. I'm trying to put my seatbelt on, but I'm having a contraction. So it wasn't like a smooth put on of a seatbelt. It was more like a type of thing. So my child's father decides I'm going to stop at every red light. I'm not going to speed. Oh, and by the way, let's stop at the gas station and get some Gatorades because might get thirsty at the hospital. So we get to the hospital, and I'm sitting in the car, and he's like, just wait right here, I'm going to go get a wheelchair. So I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. I've been pushing since we've been at the house, but I'm just going to sit right here and wait till you get a wheelchair. Hi! So it wasn't just oh, I'm just patiently waiting for the wheelchair. It was more like a, oh, suck it back in, suck it back in. So as my lovely wheelchair arrives, the woman, oh so sweet, old, fragile, I get in the wheelchair and the woman is pushing me back into the hospital, and she's just like, it's okay, sweetie, we're going to get you up to labor and delivery. And I'm just looking at her like, can you go any slower? But I didn't want to say anything because she looked like she's already using her 401k. So we get up to labor and delivery, and for the first time I've seen during my whole pregnancy, there is nobody up there. I mean, it's a ghost town. I'm looking down hallways, looking indoors, like, is somebody up here? Is anybody working today? It's a freaking Friday. So a nice little nurse walked down the hall, and I was like, excuse me, ma'am. Give me one moment. I'll grab somebody for you. So with that being said, she goes to get someone, and a little woman walks out, and yeah, she's like, well, come into the triage room so I can check you. And she's all slow with it. I'm like, lady, I'm having a baby. She's like, I just want to check you, take your pants off. Before she finished the sentence, my pants were off. I ain't playing no games. I'm trying to deliver a baby. So she takes her 2 little fingers, and she does the little check. The little check, you know. And she checks me, and she's like, oh, you're 10 for 10. So she pushes the little button. She's like, we have a 10 for 10. We have a complete. And I'm like, what is going on? What is a complete? I don't know, but my legs went wide. I'm like, I'm complete and ready to deliver this baby. So she's pushing the button. 8 people roll up in the room. Like, oh my gosh, this is a great way to end my shift. I don't care about your shift. I care about this human being coming out of my body. Shout out to the little blonde woman in the corner. She had like short hair. She had like a little button nose. And she was just in the back shaking. Apparently this was her first delivery. So as I'm pushing, I glare out the door, and there's a man walking by. He is a C-section doctor. They yank him into the room like, you gotta deliver a baby. 10 minutes later in the triage room. Yay! You were born. You were born.